All right, everyone. Welcome back to week 4 of the GLCC. That is the Gym Leader Challenge Circuit, a monotype draft league hosted by myself and my good friend Central. Check out his channel in the description. He posts a lot of good content. He posts his games every week, so make sure to check him out. Also, in the description, there will be a link to the Discord for if you are interested in joining next season, as we are nearing the halfway point for our league. You can join the Discord and catch all of these games live, as well as join next season to play yourself. But yeah, with that, we're going to get into the recaps for this week. So our first matchup this week was Gradients versus Kai, which is a mono ground versus mono fighting matchup. So we do have a neutral matchup here. We do see Keldeo coming off the bench for Kai. I don't think it's come in any other game yet so far. And then we do have the Rapid Foo as well, which is something that Gradients needs to be aware of and very carefully play around. In order to deal with that, Gradients does have a few different tools. He does have his Water Compaction Terra Palisand, I'm assuming Terra Fairy, and that will allow it to eat Surging Strikes and essentially get up to +6 off of one Surging Strike. Gastrodon also has Storm Drain, which is really nice. Guard Jump's a good neutrality. And overall Iron Hands has also come with, which I think is interesting, into a mono ground matchup. So we'll see how that goes. But we do also see Terra Sand Slash potentially, since Palisand does have that ghost typing already. We could see a Terra Fairy Sand Slash coming out here, and it is also a Sand Rush Sweeper to pair with the Hippowdon, which makes sense considering Excadrill is probably not super great in this matchup, and is the other Sand Rush abuser on this squad. But yeah, with that, let's get into the match. Let's see how it plays out. So we see a Gliscor lead into the Scrafty. I wonder if this is an SD Acrobatics set. I don't believe I have pace for this matchup, so we'll see how it plays out. So we see a Toxic Spikes into an Ice Punch. Okay. We see the Toxic Orb try to get knocked off. I wonder if knocking off here was the play to prevent the Poison Heal. To prevent the Poison Heal in order to basically neuter this Gliscor. And then after that, you can Ice Punch. But we do see that Ice Punch is a 2-shot. Without the Toxic Heal, we see Protect to get some leftovers. I'm assuming we're going to see a switch out here from Gray. Yes, we do see a U-turn. Doesn't do too much to Scrafty. We see the knockoff come out into the Palisand and crits it. Oh, wow. That's a really big crit because this Palisand is really, really good in this game. But we do see Gray sacks the Palisand to the Trailblaze Scrafty. And this Scrafty is going absolutely insane here. I wonder about that switch out. I get saving health on the Scrafty, but also I wonder, does Ice Punch just kill? Probably not, but it probably does a significant amount, and I'm assuming Scrafty doesn't die. So I wonder if going for a Trailblaze into a Ice Punch could have been an interesting play there. Of course, with Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet potential on this Guard Jump, I'm not sure whether Scrafty took the Earthquake. So this play also makes sense considering it's Balloon Iron Hands, which is a really cool set. I think that's a really good set in this matchup. We do see a Fake Out come out. Garchomp does get chipped. We see the Liquidation come out from the Garchomp into the Ice Punch. And it's Yachi. Okay. Wow, it ate that not very well, honestly, through the Yachi. But this is an Iron Hand, so I guess that's fair. We see the Earthquake come out, and then Keldeo comes in, Icy Winds, takes it out. Nice. I wonder if this is potentially a... Oh, we do see a miss into a Yawn. Okay. We see the Keldeo continue to stay in and spam Icy Wind. I wonder why. I feel like you can switch out here. You see the Yawn come out. I wonder if Great Tusk just goes for the spin. It does. It goes to sleep here because of the Yawn. Gliscor gets some health back. Yeah, this Gastrodon is going to be really, really annoying for Kai to break. And we see the Gliscor just getting up continuous T-Spikes. Gets up both layers. The Great Tusk is still sleeping. Great Tusk wakes up, gets off the Ice Spinner. We do not see a Rocky Helmet. We see a Rapid Spin come off now, which makes sense. Hippo just goes for Earthquake, does absolutely nothing to this Great Tusk. This does look like Great Tusk might be able to kind of stall this Hippo out of slack offs, but I wonder if it's just better to just go into Keldeo here and threaten. Or honestly just Urshifu at this point maybe. We do see the Earthquake come out. See Guts come off. Conk takes another Earthquake. We see Drain Punch to get back some health. It does look like he's out of range of another Earthquake. Maybe not after Sandstorm. Okay, we do see it, and then probably a Facade here or Ice Punch. Okay, that makes sense. And with that, we see Sandstorm goes down. Conk goes down to double down. But I think Kai's in a pretty commanding position here. Yeah, he just goes Keldeo. Gastron does get that water absorbs Storm Drain off, which is a little bit concerning. This Gastron is really a problem. I think... Okay, wow, that did not take the U-turn well at all. I wonder if Close Combat just kills, honestly. I think that's Bandit or Shifu. That has to be, right? That's like insane damage. You see a Trailblaze come off from the Scrafty. I'm assuming it's just going to go for an Ice Punch now. We see a big crit. I think that means that it two-shots. I don't think it two-shot it before, but we see a Protect come off. Gliscor gets back more health. It should live another Ice Punch. Okay, Scrafty still lives barely. Gliscor is going to Protect here again, I'm assuming. I wonder if going hard Urshifu on this one of these Protect turns could have been a play, because I mean Gliscor can't click Protect on Urshifu, and with Gliscor being this low, if this is Bandit Urshifu, I feel like Close Combat probably takes it out, or just a straight Ice Punch. And I mean, if you turned it 30% to Gastron, I'm pretty sure Ice Punch takes out Gastron at this point. So I think just going into Urshifu on this Protect potentially could have been a pretty good play. But I'm assuming also he's just trying to sack off the Scrafty in order to get Urshifu in for free. So we'll see. We do see another Earthquake come out. Gliscor gets a bunch more health back. Yeah, unfortunately, Gliscor is just out of range at this point, right? Yeah, we see the Close Combat come out. I wonder why this Urshifu wasn't Ice Punch as well. But yeah, without Urshifu, I don't think Keldeo never breaks the Gastrodon. So Gradients does manage to pull this out. Yeah, I mean, Gastrodon just stalls this out. Just clicks Recover and wins. I think probably going hard Urshifu on this on one of these Protects. Or even bringing Ice Punch on Urshifu. I wonder what the moveset is on Urshifu. Could have been a potential play in order to be able to win this game. But, yeah. Very well played on both sides. Gradient's definitely played to his outs, especially in such a threatening matchup with Keldeo and Urshifu. And, yeah, overall, it was a good game. Yeah. With that, we'll move on to the next one. All right, game 2. So we have Cola's Ice with Mono Ghost versus Dracogon playing Mono Fire. And I do have the pace for both of these teams, so we'll be able to go over them really quickly. We have Sableye here with a Damp Rock and Rain Dance, which looks really good in this game. Of course, setting up Rain to weaken the Fire type attacks, but also counter potential Sun, which Dracogon hasn't brought this week, which is very interesting. You do have to be really careful about boosting Steam Eruptions, especially since there's not really a Steam Eruption switch in on this team. I mean, Basque Legion probably takes a couple, but yeah. We do have Thunderwave, Foul Play, and Power Gem on this set. No Recovery is interesting. But, I mean, all the other moves make sense as well. We do see a Terra Steel, which I think is interesting in Tomato Fire. But potentially it might not be the Terra Captain, considering Banette is also there that can Terra. We also have a Flash Fire Sarah Ledge, which makes sense to absorb Fire-type stabs. And we're running Poltergeist, Close Combat, Dragon Claw with SD. So this is interesting. Dragon Claw, I'm assuming, is just neutral coverage. I don't think it's anything. Yeah, there's not really anything in particular. I think Dragon Claw really hits, but it is good neutral stab, especially since Bitter Blade is not super great into this team. And then we have a Choice Scarf Dragapult coming back. I believe it was also Choice Scarf last week. And we have a Hydro Pump Surf set in order to take advantage of the rain. As well as Draco Meteor for neutral stab and a U-turn. We have a Specs Basket Legion with Swift Swim to go with the rain, which I think is really interesting. I wonder, does Sableye get Pivot? I feel like it gets Baton Pass, but I might be completely wrong on that. but I think that could have been really interesting to bring if it does get it, but I'm not super familiar with Sableye's moveset this gen. But Swift Swim Basket Legion with choice specs looks really good here. You do have to be careful of the Volcanion. Does have water absorb, but once that goes down, I think Basket Legion does do really, really well here. We are Hydro Pump, Surf, and Mud Shot, which is interesting. In order to hit, I'm assuming, like Volcanion, for example. And we do have Shadow Ball for neutral coverage. We also have a Choice Banded Terra Ghost Banette this week with max HP, max attack, Sucker Punch, Shadow Sneak, so double priority with Poltergeist and Knockoff. So very interesting set. It does look pretty good here as long as you don't knock off into Talonflame and get burned. But dual priority is really nice. Do have to be careful that Arcanine's Extreme Speed and Talonflame's Gale Wings obviously do outspeed, but strong priority. Could be interesting. Excited to see what it can do this game. And it does have Frisk in order to reveal items, which is nice. We have a substitute Mudshot Nasty Plot set for the Spectrier. Leftovers to go with the substitute. And then on Dracagon's side, we have a Assault Vest, Water Absorb Volcanion. So this looks really, really good into this team, actually. Especially considering all of the special pulls. The Rain Bring, really, this Volcanion is going to be really, really key for Dracagon. So really, how he plays around with this Volcanion is really going to determine the tides of this match. We are Steam Eruption, Earth Power, Flamethrower, and Overheat. We have a Focus Sashed Arcanine Hisui. I'm assuming that means it's going to be the lead. It is packing the Stealth Rocks, which look really good in this game. No removal, and Sarah Ledge is not boots, so that's going to be really nice. Does have Crunch in order to hit everything, as well as Flare Blitz Head Smash. Standard, we do see Adamant, so this thing is going to hit really, really hard. We have a Choice Scarf Rotom Heat. I wonder, does that outspeed Spectre? I think it does, barely. Yeah. It doesn't outspeed Scarf Dragapult though, so something to keep in mind. The trick does seem interesting, although I don't think there's much that can be tricked on this team. Yeah, I don't think you really want to click trick into this team. So we'll see how that plays out. But Thunder Wave is really good. We do have Volt Switch and Shadow Ball, which makes sense. We're running a Fling Big Nugget Cinderace. That's fire. That's actually an amazing tech. So that will pretty much blow up anything that tries to come in, as well as change the typing into Dark, which will be really nice as a resist to the Ghost Stab. We are also running Sucker Punch for more consistent Dark Stab, Pyro Ball, and U-Turn. And then we have a Gale Wings Talonflame. So it's not Flame Body, which means that the Banette does not have to worry about getting burned here. And we have a Swords Dance Acrobatics Tailwind set. Interesting. So Tailwind to set up speed control. So I mean, with that, honestly, a lot of this team does outspeed even the Scarf Dragapult. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But we are Mono Acrobatics with Roost. And we have a Power Herb Iron Moth with Meteor Beam Agility. Okay, this is going to be really fun. It is Dazzling Gleam and Fiery Dance. So I'm excited to see how that set works out. But yeah, that's very cool, especially under Tailwind, or just after you get an Agility Double Dance. Iron Moth does look really, really good here. So, all right, with that, we can get into it. So we see the Choice Scarf Dragapult lead into the Choice Scarf Rotom. Rotom takes a big Hydro Pump, but gets off the Thunder Wave, so this Dragapult is basically crippled for the rest of this game. We can go into AV Volcanion to absorb the Hydro Pump. Basket Legion comes out and takes a big Steam Eruption, only does 34%, and the Choice Specs Mudshot comes out and does about 30% to this AV Volcanion. Steam Eruption comes out and it will take out Basket Legion on the next hit, so Dragapult comes in on the Rotom double. Shadow Ball comes out, Dragapult takes it, and we see Draco come off, so the Dragapult takes the first KO on the Rotom. Now this is a great opportunity for Iron Moth to set up, so I'm assuming that's what we're going to see here. Yeah, we see a Meteor Beam come out, hits the Ceruledge, one-shots the Ceruledge. See Sableye come in, gets off a Thunder Wave, so that does stop the sweep for now, because Spectrier can come in and potentially take an attack. I'm not sure about the substitute there. I think it's potentially risky to keep lowering your Spectre's health, especially considering this Iron Moth can just spam Fiery Dance, but does get bailed by the para there. Yeah, I think that was a really, really risky play to substitute up. I mean, because I'm assuming you're banking on the paralysis, but you don't really want to, because this Mon can just spam Fiery Dance and keep breaking your sub. And then if it does break your sub, you are in a really, really bad spot, especially because I believe at +1, Spectre probably takes a Fiery Dance, depending on the investment on the Moth. Maybe not from this one, considering it is modest, but I think potentially just going for the Mud Shot could have been the play there, just to try and weaken it, and then maybe take it out with Bennett or something like that afterwards. But yeah, we do see the double substitute into the para, which allows the Spectre to take it out. And we are going to be at about 64% once the Iron Moth is taken out, or I guess 69 after this turn. Yep, so here we see the para, 6% comes back, and then Iron Moth goes down. We see a Spectre with +1. I'm assuming here Arcanine comes out with the Sass. Yep, and we see a strong Flare Blitz come out, take out the Basculegion. The big Bennett comes out here, finds the Focus Sash. Terra Ghost Shadow Sneaks, and it's a 2K. Wow. Okay. Terra Ghost Bennett is really strong, I guess. Yeah, I did not expect that to 2-shot, but we see the smart switch on the Sucker Punch, but a Sucker Punch afterwards does take out the Dragapult. We see Spectre come in, get off a sub, but yeah, I think this is pretty much wraps. I think the Cinderace does just win from here. Oh, we see a miss on the sub, maybe. But yeah, the Spectre doesn't have Draining Kiss, so unfortunately it's not going to be able to take advantage of the Power Ball miss there. And we are going to see a 3-0 victory from Dracogon, I believe. Yeah, potentially just going for a little bit more chip for differential here instead of the substitute. I think could have been a play. Maybe even like a Mud Shot to lower its speed so that you can go out into Bennett and just get off a strong like Poltergeist, knock off something, try and maybe make this a 2-0 instead of a 3-0. But I think at this point, there's not really an out without Draining Kiss on the Spectre. Yeah. If it was Draining Kiss, then potentially on this sub, on the miss, you could get up a Nasty Plot and then Draining Kiss up, and then potentially, honestly, maybe even win from there. But yeah, unfortunately, I think this is pretty much wraps. So yeah, we see the Sucker Punch come out from the Cinderace, take out the Bennett, and yep, that is game. So well played to both sides. Very cool brings on both sides. And I mean, Terra Bennett did put in some work. It did destroy the Arcanine. So also ate a Flare Blitz. So yeah, that was cool. All right. With that, we're going to go to the next game. We have Mountain Man with the Mono Poison Squad, or Gym Leader Flanagan, as we refer to him as. And then we also have Exilus with the Mono Fairy. And so, of course, this is a tough matchup for Exilus and Mono Poison versus Mono Fairy. I do have Mountain Man's paste, so let me pull that up real quick. Okay, so Mountain Man is rocking out with the let's switch sides since we have Mountain Man's paste. Okay. So Mountain Man is rocking out with a Choice Scarf, Salazzle, Overheat, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, and Flamethrower, which makes sense. Yeah, it pretty much hits everything on this team. Mimikyu and Granbull are the two neutralities because Granbull can Terra, and Mimikyu can also Terra, but the Ghost typing makes it neutral to Poison. So yeah, this Salazzle looks like a really good revenge killer. We do have Corrosion in order to be able to poison anything, but I don't think that's really going to come into play here. We do have the Mental Herb Terra Water Reverie in order to prevent Taunt or Encore, which I think is really, really good. And we are also high horsepower Iron Head Gunk Shot, which makes sense, hits everything on the team. So, I mean, if this gets a shift gear up, I think it's probably pretty much wraps as long as the Mimikyu's disguise is broken. And Granbull has a little bit of chip. I'm assuming Azu will be physically defensive in order to beat this, but yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We do have a unaware Clodsire, excuse me. Black Sludge, Poison Jab, Earthquake, Recover, Stealth Rock, pretty standard set. Max Speed F. Basically to take on the Valiant, I would assume. We do have a Max Speed F Muck as well, and this is going to be probably the main Hatterene answer. And then we have a Max HP, Max Attack Tentacruel, which I think is really interesting. It is rocking out with the Toxic Spikes, so you do have to be a little careful not to click that on the Hatterene. Not because it really does anything to your team, considering you have 6 grounded poisons, but more so because it does give Exilus a free switch into Hatterene, which is one of your biggest threats in this matchup. Considering, like, if your Muck gets chipped down a little bit, you don't have any real answers to that Muck. The Muck is Poison Jab, Fire Punch, Knockoff, Protect, by the way, in order to get some recovery off the Black Sludge. And then we are Gunk Shot, Rapid Spin, Flip Turn on the Tentacruel, along with a Air Balloon Glimora in order to prevent Earthquakes or Rock type, Ground type attacks. And we are Toxic Debris as a fail-safe way to get up the Toxic Spikes if Tentacruel can't. And yeah, we're just offensive Stealth Rock with 3 attacks, Sludge Wave, Mortal Spin, and Earth Power. All right, with that, we can get into the game, see how this plays out. Hatterene is definitely the big threat for Mountain Man to watch out for, and potentially the Valiant can also be running Psyshock. The Terra Captains are also definitely pretty scary, but on Exilus' side, he really needs to watch out for the Rev Room and make sure that doesn't get the opportunity to set up. And honestly, against the squad, I would say the main win condition for Exilus is if you can get off a Belly Drum with Azu. Just needs to chip down the Tentacruel a little bit, but it doesn't have the greatest Fizz Def. Cloudsire, you do have to make sure that it's not water absorbed first. But even through Unaware, I mean, huge power Azu, probably 2 shots with Liquidation, if I had to guess. And Terra Water Rev Room definitely eats one, but if you can get a little bit of chip on it or remove it, honestly, once it starts setting up, you should be able to go for that Azu endgame. So I think that's going to be the main win condition on Exilus' side. Potentially, Mimikyu can also put in some good work as well, considering there's not really any physically defensive mons on this squad that Mountain Man brought. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. So we see a Salazzle into a Whimsicott lead. We see immediate pivot out. And we see Prankster Trick Room, which is really cool. We see the Poison Touch immediately remove the Focus Sash, but Whimsicott does sacrifice itself in order to get off the Granbull. Okay, let's see what this Granbull does. We see the Earthquake come out, take out the Clodsire from full. Wow, Life Orb offensive Granbull. This is awesome. So we see a Psychic Fangs come out, does not take out the Glimora, unfortunately. I'm honestly pretty surprised by that. And we do see the Granbull go down. I'm assuming now that means that Mimikyu will be Terra. We do see the Mimikyu come in here, does get off a strong Shadow Claw. T-Spikes come up, Knockoff comes out. We do get rid of the Disguise, but this is really good. I mean, yeah, we see the Trick Room come up, and if he can get some solid chip on this Muck. Oh, we see the Destiny Bond come out from the Mimikyu, and unfortunately, the Poison Jab does not take out the Mimikyu, and the Mimikyu does not get too much chip on the Muck. I think that was honestly a key point. Potentially, number one, terroring Granbull, since the Mimikyu was not really something that could abuse Terra. Terroring the Granbull on the Glimora and getting off, being able to survive the Sludge Wave potentially could have been really nice just to get off an extra hit with the Granbull. And also potentially having a Play Rough or something like that on this Mimikyu, or not even Play Rough, but just like any kind of other attacking move to be able to hit this Muck would have been really nice, because if this Muck gets chipped down, Hatterene just comes in and kind of goes pretty insane, especially with Trick Room. I think Trick Room is a really, really good bring into this team, especially considering it helps shut down the Rev Room. But Hatterene, like offensive Hatterene with Psyshock, absolutely destroys this team. So definitely, like, this Muck is a huge, huge barrier to any kind of win condition like that. But we do see a Swords Dance come off under the Trick Room, which I think is interesting because the Muck does outspeed. So I wonder why Exilus decided to Swords Dance there instead of just getting off damage once again for that Hatterene endgame. But we'll see how this plays out. We see Hatterene come in now. Takes the poison jab. Not very well, honestly. Gets up a Trick Room. We see the Protect come out. So the Protect being a really, really good bring here. We see a Healing Wish into the Azu. Liquidation comes out, takes out the Muckalola. Wow, a lot of Life Orb on this team. We see the knockoff come out from the Azumarill. Almost takes out the Tentacruel, but the Tentacruel does just destroy the Azu with a Gunk Shot. Very interesting game. I think the Trick Room brings was really good on Exilus's team, but I think making Hatterene more offensive and potentially terroring on the Grand Bowl could have really made this game a lot different, especially also getting chip on the Muck with Iron Valiant instead of protecting could have been really nice, because that could have put Mountain Man in an awkward position into some of the other mons on the team, such as the Hatterene. But yeah, I mean, interesting game. Very good prep from Exilus to bring Trick Room, but Mountain Man was able to pull it out with his Mono Poison team, and we do see a 3-0 victory. With that, we're going to go into the game 4, which is going to be Shattered Backboards with Mono Dark versus Curb playing with the Mono Grass team. So interestingly enough, we do see the Iron Leaves here, which I think is very interesting into a Mono Dark team. I'm not really sure what it's for, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. We do also see, of course, the Hisuian Decidueye. Zarude is really good here. We do see the Jumpluff coming once again, and the potentially Terra Vileplume. So we'll see how this plays out. On Shatter's side, we do actually have a Paste, I believe. Let me see if I can. Okay, yeah. We do have a Choice Scarf Meowscarada with Triple Axle and Aerial Ace, which makes sense. We have a Choice Scarf Jugu, Flamethrower Earth Power Hurricane. We have a Brave Bird Mandibuzz with U-Turn and Defog. We have Overquill with Toxic Spikes and Spikes. Bar Barrage, Pain Split. Very interesting Overquill set, honestly. Max Defense, Max HP. It is running dual hazards instead of offensive, which I think is very interesting into this team, considering, I mean, how good Poison Stab, like just Gunk Shot looks. But we'll see how this plays out. It is also a good Decidueye check as defensive, so very interesting. We do also see, of course, Umbreon. It is a Toxic Stalling Wish Protect Mean Look set, so trapping something in, Toxic it, and then Wish protecting it. Also pairs really nicely with the Toxic Spikes from Overquill. So I do like that bring. And then we have a King Gambit that is Poison Jab, Aerial Ace, X-Scissor, and Sucker Punch, Choco Berry with Supreme Overlord. So very good brings from Shattered for sure. And then we'll see how this plays out. We see the Iron Leaves lead into the Meowscarada. We are a booster Iron Leaves with booster attack, but it does immediately drop to the Scarf Meowscarada with a U-turn. So we see Jumpluff come into the Jugulis. It terras and eats that Flamethrower, honestly. Does about 40% back to the Jugu. The Jugu gets forced out into Overquill. And I'm assuming this is an opportunity to get up T-Spikes. Interesting to see leftovers as well instead of Black Sludge, but doesn't really matter too much. We do see screens come out from the Jumpluff. Bar Barrage comes out. Leech Seed is slowly whittling down this Overquill, and honestly, this Jumpluff might actually 1v1 the Overquill. Okay, or not. Bar Barrage did absolutely evaporate it, but Vileplume comes out. And we do see the Toxic Spikes come out now. Since Vileplume is already out, it can't absorb the T-Spikes. We see the Leech Seed help the Moonblasting Vileplume take out this Overquill and get back up to full. We see King Gambit come in. DC Moonblast. Ooh, a special attack drop. If this was a Defiant King Gambit, which honestly isn't even that bad of a bring into Mono Grass that has a bunch of Strength Sappers, I think Defiant would have gone crazy here. Like, it would have just one-shot this Vileplume, and basically made it impossible for it to Strength Sap. But we do see the Effect Spore come off and paralyze the Kingambit, and now Vileplume just Strength Saps it forever, honestly. I mean, with Rocky Helmet Chip, I'm pretty sure it 1v1s. Yeah, so we do see the switch out from the Kingambit. We see Strength Sap come out on Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz does knock off the Rocky Helmet. We do see Toxic come out on the Mandibuzz. So Mandibuzz will be forced out very soon. We see Brave Bird come out. I'm assuming Moonblast is coming here, yep. I wonder if just going for a Strength Sap there just to keep this Vileplume healthy, especially since Mandibuzz is not going to, is on a timer, so it can't really do too much to you. I think could be really nice, especially considering attack drops also help you take less damage from Brave Bird. So I think that could potentially be a play here. But we see another Brave Bird come out, and it looks like you see a Strength Sap come out. Yeah, I mean, Vileplume doesn't really get too much back from that because Mandibuzz is very weak. But Vileplume does live the next Brave Bird, and the Mandibuzz does go down. We see the Scarf Meow come in, revenge the Vileplume. U-turn comes off. Effect Spore activates again. Gets a nice poison off on the Meow. And now this Umbreon comes in. Shaman gets poison. Hits the Play Rough. I'm assuming Terra comes out. Yeah, Terra Poison comes out. Play Rough does 10%. Yeah, I think this Umbreon kind of just sits on this team forever. We see the Mean Look come out in order to trap the Shaman. Shaman has Tailwind. But yeah, Umbreon just clicks Wish and just survives forever against the Shaman. Swords Dance is really cool. Swords Dance, physical Play Rough Shaman with Petal Blizzard. Wow. I don't think that's a set I've ever seen, but very cool. Very cool brings. Unfortunately, Umbreon does just sit in front of the set. Yeah, I mean, just wall it forever. So we do see the Tailwind come up as the Shaman faints. But yeah, we see the Zarude come out at this point. I don't think it really breaks. Hammerworm is an interesting play on the Umbreon, but yeah, I don't think anything really breaks the Umbreon at this point. I think it all just gets Toxic Scald down. Yeah, we see a Rocky Helmet, or what was that actually? Oh, just Poison. Okay. But yeah, we see Bulk Up come out from the Decidueye. Another Toxic come out, just stalling turns and trying to save some wishes, I'm assuming. We see this Decidueye keep bulking up to try and push past this Umbreon, but I think, yeah, CC does 41%. Honestly, that's pretty respectable damage. But the Wish comes out, now the Protect comes out. Yeah, and I mean, it's Umbreon. It does Umbreon things. Yeah, just Wish protects forever until the game is over. But yeah, that is a very clean 4-0 victory from Shattered. I mean, the Toxic Spikes, saving it for the Vileplume coming out so that it can't absorb it, and then using it to beat the last 2-3 members of the team. Very well played by Shattered. Really, really well played. The Iron Leaves going down turn 1 was really unfortunate for Curb for sure. But the Vileplume put in a lot of work. I mean, double Effect Spore, 1v1'd the Mandibuzz after basically 1v1ing the Kingambit. I mean, pretty solid Vileplume set. Put in a lot of work this week. And also, funnily enough, the Jumpluff actually forced out the Jugulis. But cool to see these low-tier mons putting in work. And the Physical Shaman is something really cool. I've never seen that before. But, yep, very good game from both of them. Good game. Okay, we're back with Game 5. Had to take a little break because my computer started bugging out, but Game 5 is going to be my game versus Blue. And, of course, I am piloting Mono Flying versus Blue's Mono Ice. So this is definitely a very scary matchup for me considering it's, Flying is weak to Ice. But also Blue has one of the strongest teams in the league. Arguably the strongest. And, yeah, it's just very threatening to go against. So what I am bringing this week, so the Articuno is supposed to be its max special defense, max HP in order to take on Bundle with its Terra Steel. Unfortunately, my showdown didn't work correctly, and I ended up with Terra Psychic. It didn't save the Terra Steel, so we are rocking with the Terra Psychic Articuno that can't Terra because Psychic is not one of my Terra types. So that is very unfortunate, but we do have a Vizdef Corviknight in order to take on things like the Baxcalibur Weavile and technically the Beartic, although Beartic is Terra Electric, as a possibility in order to hit the Corviknight. So that is something to watch out for. We have a Choice Scarf Lando with Brick Break and Focus Blast, just in order to break down screens from Ninetales, but also just hit things hard and outspeed things like the Beartic under the Hail. We have a, I believe, Banded Gyapdos, I think, or it might also honestly be Choice Scarfed. Let me check real quick. Yes, Choice Banded. So we do have a Choice Banded Gyapdos in order to take advantage of my next team member, which is a Focus / Masquerain to get up webs. And yeah, Brave Bird Close Combat and Brick Break as well in order to hit screens. And then finally we're bringing a Yachi Moltres with Agility. It was Nasty Plot, but I changed it to Agility at the last second. And we are Fiery Wrath, Ancient Power, Hurricane on it. Of note, Articuno also has Ancient Power. So with that, we will get into the game. So we have a Masquerain lead into the Weavile. I immediately switch out because I want to save my Focus Sash, especially since this Weavile is probably going for Triple Axle if I had to guess, so I can go into my Corviknight. I was considering Rocky on the Corviknight. I eventually decided not to, but Rocky would have been really good here, except the Weavile misses the Triple Axle. And you'll see that this will be a common theme in this game, unfortunately for blue. I will say, like, to be prepared for a very haxy game. I don't think I've ever seen an unluckier game, or even like ever played in an unluckier game. So yeah, stay tuned. But we see a Masquerain come in on the Alola Ninetales. As Veil comes up, I get up webs. In order to slow down this team, I take the Blizzard without needing my Focus Sash, but I don't really have anything to do. I really should have gone for Stun Spore here. I kind of clicked too fast, went for Bug Buzz. I didn't really have anything to really do damage to this, so I should have just gone for Stun Spore in order to potentially set up with Moltres, or go into something like Articuno and try to set up, or even just go into Gyapdos and try to break it without dying. But, you know, we do go in for the Aqua Jet here. Blizzard comes out. I bring in Scarf Lando, or actually I bring in Articuno, right? And normally here, if I was Terra Steel, I would have just gotten my Terra off, but unfortunately I wasn't. So I stay normal form as he baton passes into the Frostlass, which is a really good play. I'm forced out after getting up my Calm Mind. I switch into Moltres because I'm assuming Shadow Ball is coming out. I take the Shadow Ball. I get up an Agility here. And I just go for the Ancient Power boost. And I don't get it as this back Swords Dance ups. And then goes for the Ice Shard. With the Yachi, I do eat it, but I get into Berserk range. And I go for the Fiery Wrath here instead of the Ancient Power just because it's stronger. Maybe I should have gone for Ancient Power, but honestly it didn't really matter because Ice Shard would have taken me out afterwards even if I did get the boost. So that was my reasoning behind Fiery Wrath. I also just honestly forgot that Bax gets Ice Shard. So I just went for the Fire Wrath hoping for a flinch. And I, obviously it got Ice Shard. And honestly, if I had remembered that it got Ice Shard, I would have gone Nasty Paw here over Agility. Just because I've realized I have webs. But I went Agility mostly because I was like, potentially against like a Scarf Bundle or something, or against like a Bootsmon, could be nice to have the Agility up, but really I should have just stayed with Nasty Plot, because I mean Agility doesn't really matter when he has 2 Ice Sharders, as well as a potential booster Energy Iron Bundle. So yeah, but we see Ice Shard come out, takes out my Moltres. Corviknight comes in. We see Ninetales pivot out. I U-turn here, I believe. No, I go for the Body Press because I'm a little bit scared of this Bax. It's +2. I don't really want to U-turn into something on the off chance he stays in and have to sack something. So I just go for the safe Body Press. Unfortunately, it does let in the Ninetales, so he does get up the Veil as I switch out into Lando, or stay in and just go for another Body Press. Here, I honestly really should have. It didn't really matter. But here, I should have gone for Iron Head instead of Body Press. There was really like no reason for me to click Body Press here, especially since he has a Frostlass. I should have clicked Iron Head here. It would have done way more damage to the Ninetales. Probably honestly would have two-shot it and put me in a much better spot, but it is what it is. I did make a lot of misplays in this game, to be honest. But we see the body press come out, the Encore into the body press in order for Ninetales to get up a free Aurora Veil here as I hard switch out into Lando, predicting the Veil in order to get off at Brick Break. And then the Ninetales does just take out my Lando, which as expected. We see Zapdos come in here in order to get off a banded attack. I wanted to go for close combat, but, you know, Frostlass is really problematic, so I just went for the Brave Bird. Thunderbolt comes out on the Frostlass, which I didn't know it got that, and somehow it lives my banded Gyarados Brave Bird on 2%, which is really unfortunate because it puts me in a horrible spot, because I don't have any Thunderbolt switch-ins, and yeah, I mean, I can't switch into this. So really the only thing I have on this team to take it on is Articuno, which doesn't beat Frostlass, but, you know, it takes like 30-40% from Thunderbolt into another 40% from the Shadow Ball. So it does live, and then I can like Calm Mind and try to 1v1 the Frostlass was my thought process here. But we do see a double into the backs, which gets me a free Articuno. And here is when the insane streak of luck is really the only way I can put it. Articuno has here. So we see Ancient Power, immediate boost, right? Immediate Omni boost. Now, if I was Terra Steel here, I honestly think it might have just been over. Just because I wouldn't have been able to die to almost all of the attacks on this team. And I would have just been able to 1v1 everything. But we do see my not terroring actually end up being somewhat of a mind game, as Blue sends in the Bear Tick, and instead of attacking, he does go into the Frostlass double. Also, this allows him to get a potential Curse Body off on me. And I make another misplay here, where I go for a second Ancient Power boost. For no real reason, I should have clicked Freezing Glare here, because this was like very obvious as a play. And honestly, like if I do get disabled here, it puts me in a really bad spot because I'm mono Freezing Glare. Besides the Ancient Power, which means that I can't touch Weavile. So it does get disabled, very unfortunate. We see Beartic come in here. We are going to see a Terra Electric. I go for the Freezing Glare. It does a lot of damage to the Beartic, and he goes for a Swords Dance in order to potentially take out my Weavile, my Articuno. I'm assuming that was to force out my Terra, which, you know, obviously I couldn't do because I had the wrong Terra type. But now Weavile comes in on the Freezing Glare. I recover here because I forget that I am actually faster with the Omni Boost, which honestly was kind of surprising to me because Weavile is really, really fast and my Articuno has 0 speed. So even at +1, I was not sure that I actually outsped, but yeah, as you can see, I did. But we see Blue misses a triple axle, which definitely wouldn't have killed, but it did like 60-70%. And then Ice Shard afterwards didn't actually take me out, but it would have put me really, really low in order for potentially Bundle or a Aqua Jet from Beartic to come out and try to take me out. But we do see the disable end here. Go for the Ancient Power. It does actually two-shot the Weavile. I don't get a second Omni boost, but Weavile misses another triple axle. So now I'm still at 100%. Ice Shard comes out, crits me, puts me really, really low. So potentially Blue still has some outs here, but then I go for another Ancient Power and get a second Omni boost. So at this point, nothing really outspeeds me, even a potential Scarf Bundle. Can't really do too much. We see a Freezing Glare come out, guaranteed Oko on the bundle, and then Beartic has taken too much chip, so Freezing Glare does just take it out. And with that, I somehow win a 3-0 victory against Blue. Completely undeserved. Definitely should not have won that, especially, I mean, just on matchup, but on top of that, all of the misplays I made this game really, like, just all piled on each other, and I got super bailed by double Omni Boost and the double triple axle miss from the Weavile. So definitely a very undeserved victory for me, but one that puts me in a good spot in the standings, or a much better spot than I probably would have been otherwise. And honestly, a very surprising win. I was really going into this expecting to get 6-0'd or 5-0'd, but yeah, I guess with the power of luck and hacks, anything is possible. So with that, we're going to go on to the game 6 for this week. So game 6, we have Central with a Mono Dragon team versus Arc playing Mono Bug. We do see the Arcalodon come out as the one Rabombi check. Terra Ground Yanmega also looks very scary here, and Araquanid is just a demon as a Mon. While Gouging Fire on Central side, with Terra Appleton looks really good here. And Arcalodon is always a very scary Mon to face, especially on a bug team that doesn't really have too many great answers to a really, really strong Draco Meteor. But I do actually have pace for both of these players, so we can go over them really quickly. We do see a Stealth Rock, Roar, Meteor Beam, Power Herb set on the Arcalodon, which is really cool. I didn't actually know it got Meteor Beam, but that makes sense. I mean, I wonder if Electro Shot is better just so you don't miss. But, I mean, Meteor Beam is also really good because it's super effective. But I feel like at +1, Electroshock probably also blows up anything on Arc's team. But that was just me because I am paranoid of missing these kinds of 90% accurate attacks. But I do think Meteor Beam is objectively better. I just always miss these 90% attacks. And so I opt to go for the safer route. But Stealth Rock is really good. Roar, really nice to keep phasing things out and making them take Stealth Rock chip. We do see Flash Cannon last just to hit, I guess just stab. We see a Chardy Berry Gouging Fire. So Chardy is the rock, I believe. So that's for the Cleavor. And it's just a regular offensive set. We have Burning Bulwark in order to potentially burn the Cleavor or a lot of the physical attackers on this team. And we have a Dragon Dance Stone Edge Heat Crash set. Since Stone Edge Heat Crash does hit everything on this team. We see another offensive Cyclozar here, which is really cool. I really like the offensive Cyclozar brings that Central keeps bringing each week. I feel like this Mon usually gets relegated to more utility just because it is kind of weak, but it does get really, really good coverage and honestly is a decent offensive Mon if you invest into its different stats. But we do see a Temper Flare, Quick Attack, Rapid Spin, and Crunch set, Adamant Nature, and then we see a Tanga Berry, so that's the Bug Resist Berry, I believe. On the Latios, Thunderbolt, Draco Meteor, Luster Purge, Protect for the first impression, and then the other 3 attacks just to hit things really hard. We see a Choice Scarf Flygon, with Levitate, Dragon Tail, Dual Wing Beat, and Rock Slide, as well as a secondary Stealth Rocker. We do see a Moringa Appleton. I'm not going to lie, I don't know what a Moringa Berry is. So let's check real quick. Moringa. Raises holder's SPDF stat by 1 stage after it's hit by a special attack. Very interesting. Okay, so essentially the idea is to get hit by a special attack on Appleton. There is a Reflect on this set as well in order to boost up the physical defense. Then we have a Recover Apple Acid Rollout set, which will be really fun if that comes out here. But very cool brings from Central, and then we can look at Arc's side. So we have a Focus Sash Rabombi, Sticky Web Lead with Quiver Dance, Moonblast, and U-Turn. Yeah, that set makes sense. We have a Choice Banded, Close Combat, Earthquake, U-Turn, and Leech Life. Slitherwing, that looks really, really good here, honestly. It kind of claims kills with Close Combat, especially considering Latios doesn't really want to be switching into the Leech Life or the First Impressions or the U-Turns. So a very good bring from Arc there. It's really going to be about how you can position that Slitherwing. It is max HP, max attack, so it is more of a bulky variant, so probably trying to position it more on the Appleton or the Flygon. Although this Flygon has dual wing beat, so maybe the Cyclozar, I guess. And trying to get it in, get opportunities off in order to hit those strong CCs. I mean, I assume Choice Banded +2 CC does do like 30-40% to Latios. So if you get it in a couple times, Latios no longer becomes switching. We do see a Tinted Lens, Heavy Duty Boots, Low Kicks with First Impression, Knockoff, and Sucker Punch. That makes sense. We have a Choice Scarf Cleavor, Adamant Nature hits really, really hard. We have Stone Axe, Exeter U-turn in close combat. Then we have a Speed Boost Yanmega Terra Ground. I think this is like the first or second time this mon has come. But we do see Terra Blast, Bug Buzz, Air Slash, and Protect. Very good set. And then we have a Leftovers Araquanid that is actually max attack adamant. So this is going to hit really, really strong. We have Substitute Infestation, which is really cool. Potentially trying to trap something, maybe like the Gouging Fire, I would assume, since that's a really big threat to Ark's team. Getting off an Infestation and then subbing, Leech Lifing, Liquidationing in order to wear it down and potentially take it out. Could be really, really good for the rest of Ark's offensive team. But yeah, with that, we can get into the battle. So we see a Archaludon lead into the low kicks, and an immediate Swords Dance comes out on the Meteor Beam. We do see the low kicks get taken out. I wonder why the Focus Sash Rabombi didn't lead. I mean, I don't think it was a better lead into Archaludon, honestly, but I think that's interesting. Just a really interesting lead, I think. I think potentially just leading the Slitherwing could have been a little bit better, but since the only thing that really forces you out is gouging, which you have the Araquanid for, and then the Latios also can be somewhat scary, but you can always go into low kicks on that afterwards, as well as like Araquanid just takes special attacks because it's really specially bulky. The only bad lead that is like Flygon, but like, I mean, you have answers for Flygon. Like, you can go Cleaver on it, or you could just go something like Yanmega. So I think potentially Slitherwing lead on Ark's part could have been a better lead, but you know, I think low kick also makes sense. We do see the Protect come out on the Yanmega. I'm assuming the Terra Ground is going to come out now. Terra Blast. We see a Bug Buzz come out. Interesting. I wonder why no Terra Blast. I mean, I'm assuming it was just to predict the Latios, but we do see the Archaludon actually stay in, almost take out the Yanmega. We see the Terra Blast come out, does take out the Archaludon. And also, I just realized they're not Prac Stamina. Is this Archaludon not Stamina? Interesting, the Archaludon is sturdy. So sturdy, I guess, to guarantee get off the Meteor Beam or guarantee get off the Stealth Rocks. Very cool. Okay. Yeah. We see a Terra Blast come out. And I'm assuming something like the Cyclozar comes in, goes for the quick attack, takes out the Yanmega. Okay, very nice. We see Scarf Cleaver come out, gets off a strong Stone Axe, almost takes out the Cyclozar. Crunch does almost nothing. We do see quick attack just to get off a little bit more chip, and then we see the Stone Axe finish off the Cyclozar. Scarf Flygon comes in. This is a free dual wing beat pretty much. See a Rock Slide, same thing. Rock Slide does not two-shot the Arachnid. Doesn't get flinched. Liquidation comes out, does a lot of damage, but I mean, this is really good for the Gouging Fire. Getting rid of Arachnid pretty much means that Gouging Fire wins, especially considering it's Chardy, which means that it eats Skivor hit, and then it definitely just takes it out with Stone Edge. Or, I mean, honestly, at this range, it might even take it out with Heat Crash. But I think from here, like, Gouging Fire pretty much just wins. Yeah, we see the Scarf Flygon come out, Rock Slide come out, X-Scissor takes out the Flygon, but yeah, Gouging Fire just comes in, and we see a switch out and a Dragon Dance. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense because Dragon Dance allows you to outspeed everything. And then Stone Axe with the Chardy, you probably eat it into a first impression from Slitherwing. So, yeah, that makes sense as a play. We see Heat Crash come out as the Rabombi Quiver dances up, gets to outspeed the Gouging Fire, does a lot of damage with Moonblast, but Heat Crash does take it out. But this Gouging Fire is almost gone. So, unfortunately, because the Slitherwing is not first impression, though, this does actually just win from here. Yeah, we see the Leech Life come out on the Burning Bulwark, which is a really good bring. And then the Heat Crash does take out the last mon on this bug team. But yeah, very good game to both sides. I mean, Arc just had a really tough matchup, I think. Central's team is really, really good overall, and they both had very good brings. I really like the Chardy Berry, the Tanga Bear on Latios, and the Appleton is a really heat set. But overall, good game to both of them. And yeah, with that, we're going to move on to the last game for this week. We have Lunar Echo, Mono Water, versus Lost Lotto, who is Mono Psychic this week. And so here we have some interesting brings in the Quackable. I did not really expect the Quackable in this matchup, considering it's against 5 Psychic types. But, I mean, it is good removal, I guess, and I believe it gets Crunch, I think. So, it does have some options to hit the Psychic type, so we'll see how well it does here. But Greninja obviously looks really good here. We do see Lunar bringing Rain. Walking Wake is really good because it's an immunity, or a neutrality, to a lot of the coverage moves like Energy Ball and this Terragrass Delphox, things like that. Quagsire is a good Unaware Mom to check the Necrozma, which can set up a lot. And yeah, overall, I think these brings all make sense. On Lost Lotto side, we have the Latios, which makes sense because it has Thunderbolt and Energy Ball, can basically hit everything on this team. Glow King is really good just because it's a really good Walking Wake answer. Eats pretty much everything that it wants to go for. We do see a Jirachi, potentially a Scarf set. Physical could be really good with Thunder Punch, and yeah, I believe it doesn't get Seed Bomb, but Thunder Punch could be good, or a special set. I'm pretty sure it gets both Thunderbolt and Energy Ball, so that could be really good as well. Maybe something like a Scarf set could be nice here. We do see the Necrozma as well. Could be a lot of things. Could be just be rocks, honestly, which look pretty good in this game. Could also be like a Double Dance, some kind of like Dragon Dance set, Calm Mind set. Yeah, it's a very versatile mon, so we'll see how that plays out. We also have a Terragrass Delphox, which is obviously going to go very well here in order to hit a lot of these mons very threateningly, potentially like a Scarf set in order to outspeed everything and really take on the Gren. We do have a Braviary Hisui. I believe I have the paste for Lost Lotto. Yeah, we have a Choice Scarf, Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, Healing Wish, Latios, so that makes sense. We have Toxic Spikes on Slowking, which looks really good. Even with the Quack, I think it's going to have a lot of trouble trying to spin, unless it's like Payapa Berry. So Toxic Spikes look really good. We do have an Assault Vest, Jirachi with Energy Ball, Thunderbolt, and Charge Beam, which is pretty fire. So it'll be interesting to see if Lost Lotto can get off some of those Charge Beams here. But we do see an Assault Vest Jirachi, which makes sense. We have a Lumberry Necrozma, Adamant Nature, Physical Dragon Dance set with X-Scissor, Photon Geyser, and Outrage. Red Card Delphox with Terragrass and Endure, which is really awesome. Insane tech. We'll see how that plays out. We have an Encore as well on the set in order to lock something into setup. And then we are just Terra Blast as Gleam 2 attacks. And then the Braviary is actually Custap Berry, which is really cool. And we are also Endure on the Braviary. So this is going to be really interesting to see how these Endure sets play out. We have Esper Wing to raise speed, Hurricane, which is 100% accurate in the rain, which is really nice. And then we have Vacuum Wave. I didn't know that this mon got Vacuum Wave, but I guess everything gets it now. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to look at and see how this game plays out. So on lead, we have Pelipper setting up Rain into the Slowking. I'm assuming Toxic Spikes are going to come out here. U-turn from the Pelipper. We see Walking Wake come in. I'm assuming to knock off. Yeah, we see the knockoff, but yeah, I mean, Slowking just eats that. Chili's out, changes the weather, so Necrozma comes in here for free. And we see a flip turn come out on the Walking Wake into the Pelipper to reset the Rain, as the Necrozma gets a free Dragon Dance off. We see Photon Geyser come out. I don't think it will take it out because it is a Pelipper. Yeah, so we do see a U-turn, does barely any damage to the Necrozma, and Floatzel comes in. And now Lost Lotto has to find a switch in to the Wave Crash, which I don't think exists on this team. Honestly, I really think just letting Necrozma go down here is probably good, just because you get a lot of things. I mean, you get like probably 30-40% chip on the Floatzel if it tries to Wave Crash. If it doesn't Wave Crash, I don't think it kills you with anything really. I'm pretty sure Crunch does like 60%, or maybe, yeah, it might kill from here, but regardless, you'll get a Poison Tick. You'll probably get some Recoil. And if he doesn't kill you, you just get a strong Photon Geyser, which definitely takes out the Floatzel, which is one of the biggest threats to your team. I think everything else on the team honestly looks too important to really risk here. But we'll see what ends up coming out. We do see a Terra Water Liquidation, and that does take out the Necrozma. So yeah, the Necrozma stack makes sense, but also the Terra Water does put it over in order to be able to take it out with Liquidation. So only one poison tick comes out. We do see the Terra Grass come out from the Delphox. We see Flip turn to 54% to the Delphox. But Terra Blast Grass comes in. Quaquaval gets forced out by the red card and immediately taken out. We see the Endures come out here. Delphox does take the Liquidation very well. Double Endure comes out, doesn't get it, but these Floatzel slowly getting chipped down. See the Wave Crash come out. That's the only way to take out the Slowking. But Floatzel will also pretty much go down here. Yeah, because Braviary comes in and can vacuum wave and take it out. But this Floatzel did a lot of work. I mean, it took out three mons pretty much. So yeah, I mean, that was a really good Floatzel. And honestly, now without the Slowking, it's really hard to switch into Walking Wake. Jirachi can because it's Assault Vest, but once it gets knocked, I don't know how well it takes Hydro Steams in the rain, but we'll see how this game continues to play out. Pelipper comes back in to reset the rain as the rain goes down. Gets sacked off to the Hurricane, which makes sense. See Walking Wake come out. Go for a strong Surf, and that almost kills a Braviary, but it puts it in Cuss Tap range, which means Hurricane did 42%. Poison will come off here to bring it down to 46, and unfortunately, we see a big confusion. Hurricane, depending on the roll, might be able to take it out, and it does. Lost Lotto gets the roll, which means this Braviary Cuss Tap comes into play, and now Braviary gets a free Vacuum Wave into the Greninja. I wonder here if going Quagsire was the right play, but also I guess this lets you get Battle Bond off on Gran, even if you take a Vacuum Wave, which honestly it took it a lot better than I expected. But yeah, we see the Battle Bond come off on Gran. Unfortunately, the red card has been burned, so that can't be used. But yeah, I mean, Jirachi does just eat okay. It did not eat that as well as I thought it would. Even with Assault Vest, it's max HP, so not max special defense. But yeah, I mean, it did not take that very well. But I mean, this is a Battle Bond Greninja, so it makes sense. We do see, I'm assuming this is Specs, honestly. Yeah, in order for it to do that much, it probably has to be Specs. But Jirachi comes out, gets the Charge Beam off. With the Poison, does take out the Greninja. And yeah, from here, I think Energy Ball just kills the Quack. Oh, Rindo. So it does survive. And we see Amnesia come out. Lunar could have potentially just gone for the Earthquake and gotten one more div point there. But I'm assuming the Amnesia was on the potential throw to Latias. Throw, switch to Latias. Yeah, and then potentially being able to take out one more Mon, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter too much. The Energy Ball does come out and take out the Quagsire, and Lost Lotto does come out with a dub. And honestly, this puts him in a really commanding position. He's now 4-0, undefeated in this last 4 weeks, which also guarantees him for playoffs since it is a 7-week league, which means for the first time in history, in GLCC history, Lost Lotto is the first person to ever be guaranteed playoffs. So that's pretty awesome. Congrats to him, and good game to both of these players. But yeah, with that, that's going to conclude this week's recaps. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.